Book 21 focuses on a test. Penelope, of course inspired by Athena, has a final test to offer the suitors. And it involves the bow of great Odysseus. Now, the suitors are going to have to string this bow and then shoot the arrow through the head of axes. This is hard to visualize, so let's look at this clip real quickly. That's an envisioned what's going to happen, right? Someone's going to have to string the bow, which isn't easy. You have to bend the bow, attach the string, so it then looks like a bow, right? And then notch your arrow, and then you have to shoot your arrow through the axe heads that are all lined up. That's the test that the suitors will have to pass to prove that they're man enough to marry Odysseus' woman. Penelope, inspired by Athena, of course, finally says she's going to pick a suitor, someone who is worthy of her interest, and she has a final test to offer them. She has Odysseus' bow, a bow that he did not take to the Great War with him, but instead left at home, specially made, specially carved. And if you remember from my favorite cartoon, the Ramayana, the trick is that you have to string a bow. This is a kid's bow, so it shouldn't be too hard to string, but real bows aren't kept bent in bow form, but rather they're straight so that they must be strung, right? You have to bend the bow to put the string on. You can see the string is here. I'm going to have to bend the bow all the way down to get it hooked on. And it's not an easy thing to do. And so this is the task. Who can string the bow of Odysseus? Who has that arm strength to bend the bow far enough that you can actually string it? And so Telemachus is actually the first to get his father's bow. Not because he wants to marry his mother. It is not Oedipus. All right? That is not his goal. But rather, remember, this has all been about Telemachus proving that he's a man as well. And so he says, like, maybe I need to prove that I'm my father's son, that I'm as good as he is. And so he's the first. And he tries and he tries and he just can't quite get the rope. And on the third time, it looks like it's going to get it there. He's got the bow bent. And he's going to get the string on there so it looks like a bow. And then he catches Odysseus' eye, and Odysseus is like, don't do it. And he's like, oh, no, I can't string my father's bow. I guess I'm not much of a man. I'm so weak. Oh, you suitors, you try. And of course, as you can imagine, every suitor goes up, and he tries to bend the bow, and he uses all kinds of tricks, and he can't quite get the bow bent. And so, because they're kind of unsavory folks, they start cheating. Right? So you say, well, if I can't bend it, what if we heat it up? So they get hot oil and they start rubbing the bow with oil to make it more flexible. And they heat it up and they try to bend it then. And they try to bend it and they try to bend it. And of course they all fail because they're losers. Right? And they're about to give up when, of course, who speaks up but the beggar sitting in the corner over there? Odysseus in disguise says, why don't I have a chance at stringing the old bow there? And of course the suitors laugh at him, and Eumaeus is in on it, the swineherd. He's like, oh sure, here, try the bow. And they're like, don't you dare give that old man a bow. And Telemachus is like, he's our guest, you give him the bow. And finally Odysseus gets the bow, and he's not even standing up. He's seated. And just like as nothing, he goes, he bends the bow, and he strings it. And suddenly the bow is in hand, and boom! A fight is about to ensue.